welcome back to the podcast from Nobody Cares About Dad. This week, as ever, joined by my co-host, AD. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. You?
Mate, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I've had COVID. I am now
hang on a
fully
minute.
over COVID.
Oh, Jesus, mate. Mate, it's changed you. You're a changed man from it.
Good to see you wearing the branded caps. You can get them at any good outlet store.
So just send us an email. Inboxes direct.
Look, this week we got a treat for everybody because we have got the gang back together. The boys have not been back as a group for a little while, so without further ado, let's bring the boys on.
How we doing, boys?
Oi. I'm all repping.
All capped out of our eyeballs. How are you all doing, boys? You good?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. How are you?
Good. I was trying to figure out when the last time we did one of these was, and
ages ago. It would have been. It was
about
about
football game.
Super League. No, it wasn't the Super League.
did we not do a live like a?
Oh, we did maybe.
Live?
Yeah, we did for about.
I think Ferris popped up a little bit drunk on one of the lives.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah. The J2O.
No,
Yeah.
4.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, 4 J2Os.
Cheers, mate.
Cool. So look, what a week it's been, boys. In a week that saw James Bond climb to the box office charts, to Superman climbing the flag pole with a rainbow flag. This week, we are talking about being single in today's world and what it really looks like for men. Today, I've got 3 gorgeous, sexy men who are single ladies, just so you know.
Hang on, you want to know what it looks like? It looks like a podcast about being single.
Hosted by the only married man.
Yeah, happily married man.
He's sitting there going, if only I missed those days.
Well, look, the Western world today is more disconnected than ever. More people don't know their neighbours, have few friends, and won't even know where to find community events. Many men simply don't have friends, and the likelihood of being friendless triples if you're a man from his 20s to late middle age. Boys, how long have you all been single?
Are you saying boys? Fez, you're first, boy. We're men.
Well, 2 years, 2 and a bit years now.
2 and a bit years. And how did you meet your previous partner?
Where did you meet him?
AD, mate, you need to grow up. Start with, anyways. I'll carry on. Met her through Instagram, actually.
Fine. Slide into the DMs. Nice.
That's what I did, mate.
Till?
How long?
And how did you meet your last partner?
Met my last partner out in the famous city of Peterborough.
Oop, the Bosh.
Fine establishment.
That's where you went wrong.
Yeah, College Arms. Good times. I've been single probably 18 months, I guess.
And Martin?
Been single 5 months. And met her in farm food. She was working there. And then that night slid in the DMs. Boy, I wish I hadn't.
What, you just take the name off her name tag and you were like, I'm going to search.
No. I'd put a post on that day, which is a shocker because I don't post on social media much. And it was about 2:00 in the morning. She liked it. And it was a post that a girl shouldn't have liked. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's her. Slide in the DMs. Hey. And 2.5 years later, I regretted every minute of that.
Well, look,
thanks for tuning in, and
yeah, lost that viewer.
The statistics say that 11% of single men have 0 friends. But how do most people meet their partners romantically? How do they meet them? Do we know?
I can imagine nowadays it's probably social media.
It's the most statistically, it's through friends. So 39% of couples have met through friends. Although this number has, with the adaptation of social media and Tinder and Grindr and all those apps you all like, that number is starting to go down.
Of course it
So,
will.
there was a survey done. I'm interested to get you guys' read on this. There's a survey done of 13,000 men, which gave the top 10 reasons why men are single. So I'm keen to just get a couple of reasons from each of you as to why this is the top 10. Why do you think the top 10 reasons why men are single in today's society?
Career driven, as in focusing on work.
So didn't make the top
Really?
10.
Bloody hell.
So top 10 of why we're single. Commitment.
Yeah, it's got. Yeah, they don't want to commit. They want to stay single. Like staying single's got to be up there, surely. Through choice.
Okay, so not interested in relationships.
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
4 on the list.
Number 1.
Number
4.
4.
Oh, number 4.
I thought that'd be top.
Prefer going out with our mates.
I mean, because that's the reason we're all single, isn't it? Now, like we don't want to be in relationships.
No.
Yeah, definitely. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, sweet.
Been friend zoned.
No, it's not on there, mate.
Oh, okay.
Back to you, AD. You can confer.
Why we're single.
Don't know what.
Haven't got time. Haven't got time. Busy social life.
Okay,
So it's half right. It's half.
It's not on the list.
So not like going out or anything.
There's
Mate, I'm struggling. I thought mine would be a guarantee one.
Trust issues.
So bad experience from previous relationships.
Ex-partners, yeah.
Number 8 on the list.
Okay, so
What?
mine's not bad at this.
Kids.
What?
Kids.
That's a good one.
Kids. Nope.
Like for me, there'd have to be somebody special now to come into my children's lives.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get one more guess from each of them. We'll go through the list of reasons why. So let's start with you, Martin. One more guess from each of you.
I'm just too fucking good looking for them. There's nobody good enough for me.
I'd say poor look the other way. Like
Self-esteem.
It's all your boxes.
Say again.
Self-esteem.
I mean, it's hard being a 10 out of 10 and everybody else being a 5 out of 10. Oh, is that the other way around?
Yeah.
It's a bit hard being a 5 out of 10 wanting 10s.
Well, look, there's Fez.
Looking for perfection in a relationship, as in looking for that one that's
Too high
ticks
standard.
ticking everything kind of thing, and they just can't find that.
No, it's not on the list.
No.
I'll tell you what, about actually not enough single ladies. Everyone seems to be wifed up, coupled up.
No available women. Number 9. Number 9 on the list.
Mic drop. Well done for getting a ninth one. So what?
No,
You've got to start backwards then, because I'm intrigued.
So we had no available. So you guys guessed that no available women, bad experience, and not interested in relationships. So you guessed 3 of the top 10 reasons. Well, I can tell you that some of the reasons that we're going to discuss is definitely the reason why some of you are single.
Oh, here we go.
I'll just tell you that.
Oh, I'm married. I can say whatever. Shut up. Fucking dick.
So
hang on a minute. I bet number 1's fucking overweight, and let's laugh at the fat kid.
Well, number 10 is overweight.
All right, let's laugh at the fat kid.
Oh, what a special.
So yeah, I thought let's go through the top 10 and let's just talk about these as a reason as to why.
Not with 10 then.
So number 10 is being overweight is a reason why, and which is Aidan, me and you talked about this the other day actually, where it's a trend nowadays for women to say not interested in the 6-pack.
I want the dad bods, beards, tattoos, bold, red hair.
Yeah,
1 child.
lives in a high.
It's all bullshit. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, so overweight is a key reason why men are single. What are your thoughts on that, lads?
It's we to our point. We've discussed this whole thing about the amount of women and very attractive women that say, "I prefer a dad bod and I want this and I want that." It's all lies. Because if they will genuinely want a dad bod or a nice guy, then why do they still go for all the dickheads?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't agree with that.
I've been overweight for years. It's never really, well, I should go to the gym. I should eat less. I like food. And it's never, I've always punched well above my weight. I mean, they're all idiots. My history, but I don't
You
know.
are single, right?
Pardon?
You are single.
Definitely through choice.
Okay.
I never once cried to you guys, all right? No, but my relationship didn't break down because I was overweight.
How important are looks in a long-lasting relation, do we think?
I used to think used to.
See,
However,
I always think attraction at the start. You always have to have that initial attraction, but if you don't click, there's no point being with someone.
They could be the fittest looking person, yet inside they're dead. There's nothing to them.
Exactly.
So
what if when you got with that person, you or her were a looker, solid 6 or 7 out of 10, and then you got fat? Are we and your partner stays the same, or vice versa? Are we to expect that person should still love us because we're bigger, or would you still love or fancy your partner if your partner put on weight?
Mate, you've got to have the attraction, haven't you? So if it's something, why would you ever let it get to the stage where you go, "Oh, hang on a minute, when did you get so fat?" Like, you'd never let it get that far before you then use that as an excuse.
But you say that, but it's a gradual thing, isn't it? People get into relationships and you get comfortable. All of a sudden, this is what happens with, like, I always you hear about it with people that they're always going to the gym, and then all of a sudden they get in a relationship, and then they stop going to the gym. 6, 7 nights a week, and then all of a sudden it's, oh no, I'm going to spend time with the missus. So it's 3 nights a week, and then it's 2 nights a week, and then they put on weight. But you don't look at somebody and go all of a sudden overnight, go, shit, you've put on weight. It's a gradual long-term process. So you don't always notice it because it's a slow. So they're putting on the extra inch over time, but you don't notice it. You wouldn't notice it as much.
I think if you start to fall out of the attraction side of it, then you've got to go, why don't I fancy them as much? What's going on? And then you'd have that. You should be able to have that conversation.
I definitely think in relationships, though, you do put on weight. It's just a thing. Like, everyone says, well, they're in a relationship, put a bit of
the perfect person to ask this question to is you, Marco. Not on the weight side of things, but you've been with Carly how long?
No, mate, I was skinny as fuck when I first got her. Now,
no. But how long have you been with Carly?
14 years on and off.
Are you both attracted to each other as much as when you first dated?
No.
Nobody is. No, I don't think anybody in a long-term relationship will be as attracted to that person. I was with my kid's mum, and she's a beautiful lady. And after years of being together, the attraction goes because there's so many things in the relationship that take that attraction. You see them go to the toilet, and also, there's all sorts of, the mystique disappears. And just over time, the attraction just naturally disappears and fades, and it's tough. And this is why, back on the last podcast, we were talking about people cheating. It's just it's difficult. It's tough to still be attracted as you were.
But that's the person.
Cheating didn't come in the top 10, actually.
Did it not?
No. So overweight. Have we done that? No available women, number 9. Now, I assume that is just no available women to your standard or taste, because there's plenty of women out there. But
yeah, of course it is. It's going to be. We all have a list of tick boxes, don't we, in our head? What we want, what we desire, and we all do. Nobody can sit there and go, "Oh no, it's just about personality." Piss off. No, it's not. You've got to tick at least 5 of the 6 boxes. All right.
You don't find out about personality on, say, Tinder,
No.
for example.
Exactly.
It's attraction, looks. It's literally both of you, and that's what it is nowadays, isn't it? Like Tinder is the pinnacle of how I can assume now a lot of people date or get to know each other, but it's a pure attraction thing. Swipe right, swipe left. It's catalog shopping.
100%, and that's how it feels, doesn't it? You're on there and you're going, no, no.
Well,
But
I've got some statistics on Tinder. So women swipe right. That's the like button, right. Only 4.5% of guys. Okay. Men swipe right on 62% of women.
Mate, we've all done it. We've all took one of our mates' phones on the Tinder app and just gone ching, 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 swipe right.
But do that anyway.
You've got that little device set up, haven't you?
So basically, what you're saying is, if the average man under average condition wants to be 99% certain he'll receive a reply to a message online, he has to send 114 messages to get one reply, when the average woman would only have to send 25.
But if you speak to girls that are on Tinder, their inbox is full of men. Flip it round and you speak to blokes, there's no comparison. But we don't. How many guys sit there and let's be very honest, filters on social media?
It's interesting that it says here as well that the top 10% of men clean up on these apps. They monopolize it. They get all the attention from the women, which leaves the bottom 50% of men fighting for the attention of 5% of the women. That's what you're up against on the apps.
Love a challenge. But no, that's just that app, yes.
Yes, Tinder.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair,
Aiden's like, what about this one and this one and this one and this one and this one?
What about the other
scrolling down his phone?
My inbox is full. No, it's not.
Actually, the last one I gave you, the 10% cleaning up, that's from Hinge. That's from the Hinge app.
Oh, okay.
Good app.
But it's tough with it because guys don't. I mean, I can only speak for myself. There's only so much a filter can do for somebody like myself. But guys, you can't change. It's difficult to change how you look in the sense of taking a photo because we don't use filters. We don't use makeup. We are we're all look like we do now when we go on a night out. You know, you can shave your beard and trim and stuff, but that's it. But girls, on the other hand, when it's how many girls you sit there and I've got female friends and I'll take a picture and they'll be like, no, do it again, do it again, do it again. Use this filter, put this filter on, put this thing on it, put this on it. And by the time you've finished, I'm like, it doesn't even look like you.
Who are you?
Well, you've seen those videos, haven't you, where there's the absolute troll beforehand, then they get dolled up, and it's completely different.
Yeah,
you just think,
it is, and I understand why. You know, we understand why women do it. It's the self-confidence, but these girls are a 4 or 5 out of 10, tarting themselves. Wrong word to use. Dolling themselves up to a 7, 8, 9 out of 10, and rejecting 6s and 7s.
Yeah,
and it's like, hang on a minute. Let's take your makeup off. Let's take your filters away. You're a 5. You're rejecting a 7 because you look like an 8.
That plays into the statistic on there is that the top 10, they're looking for the top 10% of men, right? Whereas, so like you say, a 6 really should be looking for a 6 or a 5 or a 7, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're still looking at the 8, 9, and 10s, which leaves the guys at the bottom of the food chain without any options, and that's why no available women, I guess, hits number 9. Number 8 is bad experience in previous relationships. So we all know people, we've all been in relationships where you've been burnt, and you know, you can say, I can't be arsed. I can't be arsed. So I get that. I totally understand that one. Number 7 is a fairly simple one, which is you recently broke up. So where are you? Not in a relationship, you recently broke up. Number 6 is that you are introverted. So I guess what they're saying there is you're too scared to put yourself out. You don't approach women.
It's fear of rejection, isn't it? It's that. And plus, if
100%.
you've been in a relationship, for, let's say, 10 years, you come out of that relationship, you're not going to know what to do. You're going to go, how do you meet people? How do you even talk? Like, you look at now that with the pandemic and everything, how do people even talk nowadays? You don't just fucking walk over and do a stupid TikTok dance like everyone seems to think they do. Do you know what I mean? You don't do that.
Well, Ferris, you always say you're shy.
I am. When approaching women, no chance. I always go speak to her. I'm like, no chance. Absolutely no chance. I just hate the fear of them going, why are you approaching me for? What you do? You know, when they're like, well, why are you coming over to me? I hate the feeling of that happening. That would just be awkward. Like,
hey, and
it's bad. It's bad because the only time I can do it is when I've drunk. And it shouldn't be like that.
Fez, have you ever seen a girl that you think
full stop?
Have you ever seen a girl where you thought, oh, I really like the look of her? We're on a similar par. It should work, but you've just not had the guts to go up and say anything. Or
there's been occasions, and it's you're after like, oh, why don't I say something? But in the moment, you always like, for me anyway, I just don't want them to go, well, why are you approaching me? Or it's the fear of that kind of
fear of rejection.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard because they see it as harassment. Sometimes, you know what I mean? They'll go, "Why are you harassing me for?" Or what? And I just don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
The thing is, like nowadays, like for Martin and Marco, well, not as much Marco, but Martin, you get to a point in life where you'll go and talk to a girl, and if they're stuck up and arsey, you'll then say, "Who do you think you are?" Like, you call them out on it. You'll be like, "Why are you so rude?" Like, I'm coming to talk to you, or I'm offering you a drink. I'm not asking to put a baby in you. Wind your neck in. Whereas before, like when you're younger, you would go and bounce off one and bounce off the other, and then go, "Oh shit, I'm not going to go over to that one. She's too fit." Nowadays, you go, you'll have you'll smile, you'll flirt a little bit. You might go and approach and say, "Do you want a drink?" or send them a drink. Whereas then, if they kick back, I think it's just an age thing, not an experience thing. It's more of an age thing. You get to that point where you go, not wasting my time. Like, if that's how you're acting now, who would want to be with someone like that?
I always say though, you've got to buy a lottery ticket. If you don't buy a lottery ticket, you ain't going to win the lottery. And the worst thing the girl's going to do is go, not interested. And it's
back to square one.
But you've asked. I'm not, I'm not scared of speaking. I'm not scared of trying. I'll give it a go. If I get shot down, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I'm not going to cry. It's not going to ruin the rest of my life.
You touched on the next one, AD. So number 5 on the list is poor flirting skills.
Again, look at society, mate. Social media has ruined everything like that. Because
the art of being able to talk to people has been lost by a lot, especially the younger generation. Like, there's your group, mate. Like, you've all grown up on social media, poking and prodding people, whereas
I don't do that in a club. I've told you.
We grew up in a generation we didn't have that. So if you wanted to speak to people, you had to speak to people.
Yeah.
It cost you 10p to send a text message.
Yeah.
And you used all 140 characters of that text message.
To be fair, I was about 10 when that. I remember that about 10 when I got my first phone.
But yeah, but then a lot of girls now say as well that, laughing, like a guy will laugh them into bed. And that's it. And I'm not a looker. I openly know where I stand and look at things, but I seem to do all right because I'll have a bit of banter and have a giggle and have a laugh, and I can talk the hind legs off a donkey.
Mate, what you find now is we've got quite a few attractive women. Well, not just attractive women, quite a few women. It's been that long since they have been approached by someone that half the time they're put out by it. They're like, "Whoa, what's going on?" But they like it because it's old school. The amount of people I speak to, and they're like, "Oh, bring back the old school way of meeting people." And I'm like, "What?" So on a night out, you would go up and approach somebody. I said, "So, what would you do?" And I've said it to a girl recently. What would you do if it was on a night out and I came up to you and said, "Hey, do you want a drink?" She goes, "Oh, I'd be all embarrassed and shy." I said, exactly.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
how are you meant to win that?
But it's other things as well, isn't it? It's what I'm chatting to a girl. Do you want to come over and Netflix and chill? Not. Do you want to go out for dinner? Let me take you out for dinner. Let me wine and dine you. And that sort of thing. Like to me, taking a girl out for dinner on a date.
Flirting, though, is it?
Say again.
That's not poor flirting.
No, but it's part of it, though, isn't it? Poor flirting. You're talking to a girl and you're trying to chat them up, and it's, do you want to Netflix and chill? We all know what that means. It's basically just come over and let's fuck, as opposed to going out and.
Oh no!
Oh, have you just Netflixed and chilled?
I take my post down.
but
yeah, I just want to hammer through these. But so the fourth one you mentioned, not interested in relationships, and I guess that also plays into the eighth one, bad experience from previous relationships. People have been burnt a lot of times. You just think, oh, sod that.
You hear it? I prefer being single.
Yeah,
but like we're set in our ways. You get set in your ways, don't you?
I think that comes with age, that right? I'm not interested in relationships because when you're younger, you just bounce off one to the next, no problem. Whereas, like me now, I think if I was to break up with her, could I be asked to go through it all again? I don't know. Generally, I don't know. And to your point, AD, you've talked about this a lot. You know, we'd be in a similar boat because we both have a little boy. We'd both spend a lot of time with that little boy. So when do you have time for
exactly
someone else?
Exactly, like Martin said, it has to be somebody completely up there to go, okay, I haven't got time, I've got my kids, but look, come over. But you're there with your kid, like not introducing them to your kid, but around your kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they need to understand when you've got your kid that sometimes you're busy. You can't and not have a go saying, well, you're with your kid, why aren't you seeing me? You could do that. They've got to understand that that's your priority. And a lot of women, AD discuss, I haven't got a kid, obviously, but he always says they seem to get annoyed when I'm like, no, I actually can't see you tonight because I've got my kids. They go, oh, well, you don't really like me then. It's like that's the point that also that puts me off.
I don't know AD's situation. Obviously, I know with Eris, you can't relate per se. No offense, but I came out of my long-term relationship with my kid's mum 4 years ago, and then I got into a relationship for 2.5 years with somebody, and that was the first relationship I've had with my children as part of that relationship.
Blended family.
Yeah, blended family. And now I've come out of that. It's going to take someone special, and it's going to take a lot for me to enter into that blended family situation again, because for me, I've got to take into consideration my children now. You know, my children had to go through the separation of me and their mum, which wasn't easy. It wasn't nice, and it's not nice for a lot of separated parents. And it has an effect on them. They were, oh God, how old were they? 4 and 2. And then they had a year of daddy, just them, me and them. And we built up a wonderful little home, a little relationship. And then I allowed somebody to come into our little safe haven for 2.5 years. And they, you know, this person brought her child in, came into our home. We then moved to our own home. Then we separated. And then I've now come and made my own safe haven for me and my children. So my children have gone from a separated parent to a blended family to a separation of that. So now I've got to sit there and go, do I want to put my kids through that again? Do I want to put my kids through meeting somebody, having them become part of our family, not knowing how long that relationship is going to last? It's a scary thought, and that for me personally is the thing that completely puts me off. I'm happy now being single, staying single, and not entering a relationship because my 2 little girls matter more than anything. Like, I'd rather they were happy. I mean, not happy, if that makes sense. Not the relationships make you happy, but I would rather stay single for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to make sure that they're happy and they're comfortable and they're not put through hell, which they've been. Which, you know, the separation that we had recently was hell for them. It's a big thing.
Number 3 on the list, I guess a similar one, is low effort. So not making much of an effort. I suppose expecting that the gods are going to drop in a partner into your lap. Number 2, low self-esteem, low confidence.
That's probably about right. That's probably about right up there, number 2, because you think of how many people are single. Like it is a competition at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And you find now one person's not talking to one person.
Yeah.
No.
Like it's 3 or 4 people, and you don't want to be somebody's like 3rd choice, 4th choice. And you can tell when you are, like, if you are chatting to somebody, you can tell, oh, hang on, it's been like a day or 2 since you got a reply. Then you just get some sort of standard, oh, sorry, I was busy or I fell asleep. What, for 2 days?
Remember YX's podcast the other day where he talked about his partner and he said it took 3 months to reply.
Yeah. And he was at the point where he was just going, I'm done.
Yeah.
And he said that to her and it changed. But it is that. It's that. But that just knocks your self-esteem as well. That knocks your confidence.
Yeah.
You've been chatting to someone, even on, like, to Fez's point, if you're on a night out and you do pluck up the courage to go and speak to a girl and she's a dick to you, because women can be dicks. They're not all like, so can guys.
Knocks your confidence.
Yeah.
Massively.
You back and you go, hang on, like to this podcast, like, we're guys, like, we still feel as well. We don't go, oh yeah, unlucky, like, oh, I'll take that one. You actually walk away going,
shit,
yeah.
What have I got to do then? And you question yourself, and that's the worst thing from experience. It's the worst thing you can be doing is questioning yourself. Am I good enough? Do I look okay? Then you start getting not possessive. You start getting like a possessive habit, and you go, right, I've got to look better. So you go and spend all your time in the gym. You start fobbing off your mates.
Yeah.
You're coming out this weekend. No, I can't. I've got to work out. I've got to do this.
That's what I did. Because
you get obsessive with it. Because you want to compete. But it is, mate. Honestly, the self-esteem thing. Think at, like, more for Martin and myself. Think about the age we are. You come out and you think, how am I going to meet someone? Like, you know, at this age, you think, I can't be doing all this. I can't be going out doing this and this and this because I've got a family. I've got a child to look after. I've got a full-time job. There's so much to balance that when you do get to that point where you're chatting and then all of a sudden you can't make an event or follow through with something you've planned because things do change when you have kids, then you get fobbed off and you think, brilliant, well, what's the point then?
But then you also get the old, oh, they've ditched me, they've ghosted me. And it's like, no, we have priorities too. Our children are. Dads get such. There are a lot of people out there that do this. Oh, you know, dads get it easy. Dads don't care about this. They can have all the time off. But it's not that, because a lot of dads have what we call weekend dads. So when and that's a phrase that a lot of dads have their children on the weekends. But isn't that the time that the dads are meant to go and socialise? So if you've got your children on the weekend and then you're working all week, when are you going to meet somebody? When are you going to go out and meet somebody? Going to go out and meet someone on a Thursday night in town? Less chance than that on a Thursday than you do on a Friday or a Saturday night.
Food at night.
Yeah, well.
But the thing is, it's the same with work though. Other girls message me going, why haven't you messaged me? Well, I'm working.
So what, you're in class 3. Like,
hang on. And it's
just your phone out. I confiscated that.
Yeah. 80 grand, mate. Anyway,
no.
But it's just like, and that kind of puts me off as well. Like when they go, why aren't you messaging me? Well, you haven't messaged me all day. You're being blunt. I was like, I've had a long day. I'm tired. I've just got in from work. I just need to go to bed. They don't get that for me. The women I've spoke to anyway, just don't get that point.
Okay, and look, the number one reason. Before I do this, lads, can we all take our hats off a second?
Oh no!
Oh, don't.
Boldness.
Really?
Boldness.
Get in.
And
keep my hair.
Boldness and being short are the top answers.
Get in.
Really?
Doesn't matter. 6'2", got hair. I've got a chance.
I mean, I'm as tall as I've stood up as I am laid down, but what? So baldness is a negative.
Number one. Yeah.
I wonder how Jason Statham feels about that. And The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
There's always going to be outliers, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Listen, so they're the top 10 regions. Do we agree with them? Obviously, I know you don't agree with the boldest one, Martin. But apart from that, like, do we recognise those as the reasons why men are probably?
I
Yeah,
probably recognise them, but I don't think some of them are top 10.
No.
there's a
Like,
couple of distance can move on as well. Especially again with Martin and Adi having kids. Do you have the time to travel all that way to go see them? If you've got your kids, you probably don't. You prioritise your kids again. So for me, that's another when obviously when you
mate,
get
that's
older.
100%.
I get that, but the odds on people having long distance relationships are probably a lot smaller. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but define long. I mean, I was, a 2 months ago. I was talking to a girl from, a woman from, where was she from? Stamford. So not far from me. And the reason we stopped talking was because children got in the way. The situation with her kid's dad meant she didn't have any time to be free to socialize and meet up. And she kept saying, she was like, I've been single a year. I've never talked to somebody. She was like, my kid's dad rarely has the children, so I'm always with my children after work constantly. And I've never thought about having to have me time, free time away from the children. I've never needed to rely on the dad. And she was like, and then we started talking, met up, and she was like, we'll meet up again and stuff and that. And she goes, but I just don't have the time. It's practically impossible. And we were talking for ages, and then she was just like, we're wasting time, aren't we? Because I can't get free, so I'm never going to be able to see you. And it's tough. So distance, it doesn't have to be a million miles away, but it's still trying, down the road, it's still tough.
What do we think of relationships in work? Because a lot of people get into relationships with co-workers. A lot of people have affairs with co-workers. That's a very, very common one. What do we make of that? What do we make of people get into relationships?
Did it once, never again.
I think depending on, like, you look at some of the occupations, like police officers and that, they work silly shifts, or anyone who works shift work. They could be working silly shifts over a weekend all the time. They're going to grow close to the people they're with. They spend more time with an individual than they do friends or family.
You spend a third of your life at work.
Exactly.
You can spend more time with a work colleague than your partner.
You get to know them better, and then you start. Well, there you go. So if you're with somebody, but you're spending more time with your work buddy, all of a sudden you start investing in each other. Things start getting there because you know each other in and out, because you spend all your time. I think it's dangerous to have like a relationship with somebody you work with,
100%.
because if it goes sour, it's going to not just mess your relationship up, is it? It's the whole work dynamic.
I always revert back to that situation. I always go to Strictly Come Dancing. How many times do you hear about relationships breaking down because the dancer and the person have hooked up, and it's because they've been spending 8, 9, 10 hours a day up close and personal dancing with somebody.
I was going to say it's not the fact that they spend 10 hours a day. It's just that dancing is a very personal, interpersonal.
You're breaking boundaries by
being a good dancer. You have to connect.
Yeah. But yeah, I've dated somebody from work years and years ago, and it ended, and it just becomes awkward.
I'm going to take a dance.
I'm free on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So obviously, 3 single guys. What is it you look for then in a partner? What is it? Go on, Adi. What is it you're looking for?
No.
As long as they don't have a bigger bulge than me, I'm happy.
So what is it you look for?
Yeah.
You know what? So what it is now compared to what it was, let's say 10 years ago. Completely
This is
different.
why I'm interested in yours and Fez's, because you're both at a different age, and I'm
Yeah.
sure yours will be very different.
So me now is more, is that person genuine, attractive? 100%. You've got to have that attraction. You've got to. But are they a genuine person? Because people like to paint a picture about themselves, and it's bullshit. So are they a genuine person? Can you tell if they're loyal, kind-hearted? Because I've got a little boy, I don't want somebody selfish. Like, you've got to be able to share time, but that's time with me and time with my boy when the appropriate time to meet and blend. But that's now, like, that's probably the top three that I'm looking for. Yeah, and banter. You've got to have banter. So you've got to have banter.
And obviously you are single, so is that something that you are struggling to find in the people that you're speaking to? Or
yeah, the thing that's getting me is that because I have my boy so much, so I only have 2-3 nights a week where I haven't got my boy, and on one of those nights, it's normally football training, because that's my socializing thing on a weekend.
Yeah.
So it leaves one night, and then that night's at the back end of the week. So you think about it, you go, okay, if you've had a shit week, when you get to that night, you just want a night. You want a night off. You want to just chill out in your own company. But what I'm finding now is I have to change that, because it's not giving me any time to meet. I want to meet somebody. Don't get me wrong. I'm bored of being single. Like, it's not all it's cracked up to be. You know, you do get lonely, and that's that. You miss the little things.
Ladies, hit him up. Facebook, AD Tilly, slide his inbox. Not my
DM.
sisters.
To be fair, me and Eddie were discussing this the other day. I was literally sitting downstairs going, how nice would it be to be watching a film with someone at the moment, or something like that. Just them kind of little things. You see, when you're single, yeah, it's all nice going out, etc. But coming back, you're like,
Fez isn't like your normal young man.
I was gonna say, Fez, is that normal for your friend group though, or
no,
slightly different?
I think I'm a bit different.
You're an old soul.
A little bit. I kind of want that. It's weird. At my age, I should be going out partying, just living my. But I don't want to force a relationship. Like, that's not what I want to do. But I'd like to get back into a kind of relationship, I think. Just for
what you're looking for, though. So when you're chatting to a girl.
Okay, so career driven is massive for me. They need to have a goal, because I don't want to be. No offense to anyone who's working like at McDonald's, they just want to be there the rest of their life, kind of thing. I want someone well driven. I want kind of same interest. So it doesn't have to be football, but I mean, like, a little bit sporty, or does a sport, or does something like that. Have to like, connection is always something. Always kind of have to bounce off each other, and then. Yeah, that's the main three. To be fair,
quite mature. They're quite mature things to look for.
Yeah.
Like, at your age, they're quite mature things.
I just expected big boobs, nice ass.
No, but I've got to be attracted to them. That's for me. That initial attraction has to be there.
Do you think that? I don't know the answers, but do you think that is partly why you are single then? Because
maybe
you're talking about, like Adie's just said, that's quite a mature outlook on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So. And I am assuming, I don't know this, but I'm assuming that the girls you look for are a similar age to you, who probably don't have that same outlook as what you're probably looking for. Does that make sense?
That's what I mean. And I think Adie said this before, that actually an older woman would suit me more. As in, I'm not talking 40s, I'm talking 26, 27.
40s then.
How old are you, Ferris?
How old am I? I'm 23.
Yeah. So yeah, 27, 28.
Yeah. Something around that age, you know, so a bit more mature, are looking for something, if that makes sense. Because obviously at our age, normally everyone is going out just having a good time, kind of thing. But yeah, that kind of age is kind of would be good for me. But then again, that kind of age group normally looks for an older male.
Yeah.
So that's the dilemma I'm in.
What about you, Martin?
If you want me to be honest,
no,
at this precise... No.
Just tell us the bullshit, mate. Come on.
At this precise moment in my life, I don't want a relationship. like compared to you guys, I'm not long been out of one. I've come out of a
Yeah.
2.5-year relationship, so I've got no interest in one. I generally have no interest in one. And
what about the one you were talking to in Stanford that you were saying? Like, if that had gone anywhere, would you?
Say, you have been.
I
talk
to people like I do talk. I am talking to girls. You know, and
1 second, boys. Just got to check on decks.
I'm trying. Bye. I'm talking to people, but I'm not. I'm in no rush. I don't. You know, and when I got with my ex, I wasn't looking for a relationship. It just happened. I'm in no rush to be in a relationship. Somebody's got to come along now, and they're going to sweep me off my feet, and I've got to go, holy, like, wow.
But what do you mean by that? Would it be 7 out of 10, let's say, but is really good with the kids, committed to you, etc., or connected, or is it? Are you talking 10 out of 10 worldy?
If I'm honest with you, I don't know. Like, I'll talk about. I can only go back to my previous relationship. I met the girl in a time where I was struggling. I didn't like being alone. Right. I didn't like sitting in my house or in my flat on my own. I wanted company. I didn't have a big circle of friends. And this girl came along into my life and ticked a few boxes. The phrase red flags. There were red flags there that I looked past because I wanted company. I wanted to be wanted. And this person wanted me. So I looked past it all and we progressed in a relationship and it just didn't work out. It you know, but now I'm happy. Like I'm sat, I've got a place and I'm comfortable on my own. I'm comfortable chilling on my own. I don't need somebody to come into my life to fulfill anything. They've got to come into my life and add something to it.
Yeah, of course.
And at the moment, I've got a group of friends that care about me, that you know, and I've got a group of female friends that care about me. And if I'm feeling sad or down, I can go to them for comfort.
Well, I was going to say, is that group of female friends filling most of the gap that because you talked about before being lonely, is this group of female friends filling the gap, most of the gap, obviously apart from the intimacy side, but are they filling most of the gap that a girlfriend would usually fill?
I'd probably say yes, because we talk, we chat on the phone, we message each other, we socialize. Today, I met my friend Chloe. We went to the pub, played some pool, had some food, socialized. You know, and she's got a partner who I got on really well with. So these people are filling a void for me that a partner would do. The intimacy side, we'll leave that alone, and we won't go down that route. But I'm fine on that side. But someone's got to come along.
It's fucking Popeye arms. Look at him.
This one. But yeah, like I said, I'm not looking. I don't need somebody to come in. You know, but if I was to go in a relationship, for me, because I can again back to you, AD. I don't know if you've been in a relationship since you separated with your kid's mum around your little one. Have you? No, right. So you've yet to experience the full blended family side of things, and I have, and
he has because his ex had a partner.
Yeah, no, but AD hasn't.
Had a kid, sorry.
Yeah, AD hasn't in the sense of now.
He has in the sense that he was
back then.
Yeah, because his ex had a kid with somebody else, so he has experienced the blended family.
All right. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get, fair enough. But for me, I had to watch my children struggle with the separation, the moving out of their family home, and that sort of stuff, and having to start again, and them having to lose a boy that was like a brother to them. and a woman that took on a mother role, and I've had to watch them. So for me, someone, like I said, and I don't know, and I can't tell you whether they've got to be a 10 out of 10 Ferris, looks wise, or personality wise. I don't know what it is, because I'm not looking and I'm not searching and I'm not thinking about it. Someone's just got to come along and they've just got to sweep me off my feet, and I don't know what it is.
Well, I'm curious to know, and I want to get from each of you, actually. I think actually you, Fez, you've already answered this, but age bracket of, and I'm just looking for the bullseye. So I'm not like, so ideally, what would the age bracket be of a potential suitor for each of you?
What do you mean, like their actual age or between?
Yeah, so let's say, for example,
what's your Tinder age range?
Yeah. So if you were going, right, the next partner who I'm looking for, I'm not looking, but if someone's come along, ideally they've got to be 32 to 34. Like,
Okay, yeah.
Like, what's where are you fishing? What pond is the ideal age for both of you?
Atlantic Ocean, mate.
28.
Mine's 22 to about 27, 28, I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't want to go any lower than 22.
Martin,
I feel I'm mature.
So Martin, you're the senior member of this podcast at 38.
And so, boy, don't I look a day over 50.
And I mean, so I want you to be honest here. So where, ideally, are you sitting with the age?
It's difficult to answer because, like I said, because I don't want a relationship. It's if I was to say, right, I want to get into a relationship, I would probably say 32 to 38, 39. Ideally, I'd like to be older. I don't really know if I'd want to have an older partner. I think I'd like to be the older one, but probably 32 upwards, because my last partner was 10 years younger than me, and you can tell the difference in age, and it played havoc on things. Because to be fair, actually, we didn't mention this. Our ex-partners, AD, you've got to take. They've got to. They're part of the package. Your kid's mum.
They're fucking not.
Well, in the sense of you. Well, all right. I can only go on my experience. My kid's mum is part of my life. She's going to be part of my life until my children are 18. Yeah. I have to interact with her on a regular basis.
That was a problem for your last relationship.
That was a massive problem for my last relationship, and this is what I'm saying that. And I think the age thing comes into it. I think the maturity side of things. So for me now, when I want to look for a relationship, I do think I've got to try and go for an older lady, the 32, more my age, because. So yeah.
Are you ready?
Me, I'd say between. Hey, to be honest, between 30 and 40, I don't really care. It's how they're, like, are they mature enough? Like, if I met somebody and they were, let's say they were 27, 26, 27, but if they were mature enough and had something about them, I'm not going to go, nah, you've got your head screwed on here, but nah, you're too young. If they want, mate, I'm not going to say no. I'm single. Like, that's not going to. It's about the maturity level. What do they want out of life? Because you meet.
I agree with that.
Yeah, you meet people that could be younger. Look at, like, Fez. Unfortunately, not my type, but you meet younger people and they have their head switched on. They know exactly what they want. They are career driven. They know what they want to do. That's that.
What if they were 45?
If they could still get on it. No, not that. I mean, like.
Of course you did. Yeah.
That's what I meant, mate. Right, you like stitching me up here. Nah, mate. Do you know what? Okay, they're probably an upper age limit, because you don't want to be like, hang on, I've got to take you in for your hip surgery tomorrow. Football. Like, there's obviously an upper age limit. I'd say 40 for me.
How old are you? How old are you, AD?
36.
I was talking to kind of talking to a 47-year-old, and she kept saying, "I'm too old for you. I'm too old for you." They have their own different battles in life.
Everyone's got their own
Yeah.
preference and what they want. I know guys that are going out with women a lot older, like 20 years, but they're happy. It works. It works for some people. It doesn't for others.
It rarely happens, though, does it? It rarely happens that the guy's younger.
Yeah.
It's normally we
Yes,
talked
normally
about
the
this.
guy's
We
older.
talked about this on the last podcast where we talked about who cheats more, men or women, and the statistics that older women don't tend to go with younger men. Therefore, their options over 35 tend to be a little bit more limited, which is why men over 35 tend to cheat more than women.
Yeah.
Because their options are still.
And women mature more than men, don't they? They tend to mature at an earlier age, and men tend to mature later on in life.
Like,
So
we're all still egged on by each other. We're like, yeah, go and do that. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Like, that's just lads. That's how
lads'
we operate.
behaviour, Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, look, one of the things. So you actually I think one of you touched about this before. Red flags. I can't remember who mentioned red flags. But what are the red flags for you guys? What are the red lines in the sand that you just wouldn't consider?
False teeth. No.
Really? Sign me up. See, the problem is with red flags is it's seeing them and having them. They've got. We've all. Let's be honest. Like we've all probably met somebody and gone, "Holy shit! The sun shines out of this person's ass." And then over a period of time, it could be a few weeks, a few months, a year. You suddenly think that was a facade. That was a show. And then the red flags start coming out. I know
the science behind that. I don't know if you've read one of my previous blogs
about no, but please send it to me.
But that talks about I talked on there about there's science. The honeymoon period is an actual thing, and it's when you meet somebody brand new and it's lustful and it's exciting, your brain switches off to the negative aspects about their personality and so the little traits, the little things that you think that 3 years down the line you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, of course.
In the first 12 months, your brain switches off, ignores it because it gets taken over by the endorphins of the lust and the emotion and the excitement and the brand new. And then it's after 12 months where your brain almost levels out, and that's when you start to notice, actually, I don't like that, or I don't like this, and I don't like that. So there's actually science behind the honeymoon period and the red flags and why you ignore them. It's not that you're ignoring them; you just don't see them.
You're in the bubble, aren't you? It's called the bubble.
Yeah,
You've
you've had friends. I've had friends where you go, "What are you doing with that? Like, she's mental," and they don't see it. They're like, "What are you talking about, mate? She's amazing."
Yeah,
and we can see it because we are not in that lustful.
Yeah.
First phase, and it's after the 12 months where it switches and the brain goes, actually, mate, if I can give your head a wobble, out you go.
Of course it is, but that's it. So you're talking about red flags, and like, what do you see as a red flag? Like it's personality now. Like you look into it, we all start. Well, I don't know about Fez's generation, but if you meet a girl and you're chatting, it's almost like a fucking job interview.
Yeah.
You're trying to ask questions that trip people up, and you shouldn't be doing that. It should be, okay, this person seems really cool. Like, let's just chill out and get on. But you don't. You start saying, oh yeah, so what do you do for work? Like, what does that matter? What does that matter?
Yeah. Well, that does matter so it matters for women a lot more than it does men.
Yeah, of course it does.
So I was going to ask actually, does earnings? I know you mentioned career, Fez, but career and being driven doesn't necessarily correlate with higher earnings. You could be really good career driven person, but don't earn a great amount of money. No. So for any of you, is income or earnings a factor in what you would consider for a?
No, they've got to earn their own money. It doesn't matter how much, but they've still got to earn their own money because it shows something about them. I don't want some. Oh no, you can go out to work. Like, I'm just gonna stay at home all day. No, you're fucking not. Crack on.
Isn't that fascinating though? Because I know a lot of girls where they'll go, you've got to earn X amount. They've got to earn X amount a year.
And that'll be interesting for another topic about that kind of conversation, because it is very. I don't care what women say, it is very different. It is very different. They'll look at a guy because ultimately, as a guy, okay, in the society's eyes, you have to be the provider. That's how we're brought up as guys.
Like, do you pay on a first date, AD? You take a girl out for dinner, do you pay?
Yeah.
Hands down. Ferris?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't dream of a girl even paying half on a first date. Oh, go on, Marco.
I would as well, yeah.
Oh, you put your finger up, I thought you were like, oh, no, I wouldn't. But, yeah. I've lost my
No,
train
it
of
is. It's not an issue. Like, as long as they earn something, like they work and they're not lazy asses, stay at home.
Because you often see, don't you, guys, couples where one of them's a 10, one of them's a 2, and you're like, what's going on there? Like, he's hinted. Right, I get it, yeah.
Mate, 100%. We've seen so much of that.
It's like Crouchy said. He said,
yeah,
if I wasn't a footballer, I'd be single.
Yeah, be a virgin. Was it a virgin?
Virgin.
Yeah. But Amy,
how true of society is that though?
Yeah.
We've all seen it. I guarantee all four of us have seen somebody and you think, what an absolute why is she with that?
Yeah, how?
And then you find out, there's some sort of like they're either mummy and daddy spoon fed rich, or they're sort of looked after by their family, work for their father, their mum's business, whatever. And it's always the case. And you sit back and you think, not a chance. Like there's no chance that should work. But it is. It's down to money.
Going back to the job situation though, AD, because you're in the same boat as me, like with children and stuff. Do you feel that single mums that don't work, that stay at home mums, what them? How does that fall into it? Because they don't have a job.
If I was to date a single mum, stay at home mum, then obviously to date them, there must be something more about them than actually they're out earning money. It's just that thing. It's if I had the choice, like if I had the choice, I personally would want somebody who earned their own money, because I've got a little boy to provide for. I don't want to be providing for a little boy and then someone else completely, like, all the time.
Yeah.
But obviously you help your partners out, and we spoke about this, didn't we, Marco, yesterday? Like you help each other out where you should and where you can. You would never see your partner go without, like, as much as you could, but there has to be a limit. Otherwise, you're just an ATM.
ATM.
Bank. like we all know, like that is the underlying thing, and it has. So yes, I think there has to be some earnings on my part, but it doesn't define the person, because a lot of obviously mums who can't work because they can't. They have to stay at home.
Yeah.
Kids are too young. They can't go back to work. They're on their own. I get that. I honestly do. But what happens when the kids are old enough to go to school? Are they driven enough to say, oh, no, I'm on a career break. I'm going back. I'm doing this. That's attractive.
Yeah.
Like for me, attractive. And Fez, you've said it's career driven. That's an attractive trait in somebody.
Massively.
So it doesn't. Ultimately, it's yes, they need to earn. But if their circumstances dictate.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a group of women on this podcast that
I wouldn't be on it.
I wonder if they would be as honest with that answer.
I would like to say yes, but I honestly don't think they would be, because of how they would be perceived.
Have you Googled any statistics to show whether women will, like, are there any stats to show that women, openly admit, money is a factor?
Mate, you look at
You need to open your eyes to see that money's a factor.
Yeah, no. We know it's a factor. We can all see it. But are there any you've just done a poll, and guys have said baldness and this and that, and it's quite open and honest. But are there any statistics showing where they've polled 1,000 women and X amount have gone, money is important?
An example is, it was like when we were in Manchester, when we got that booth, and the women, just because we had a booth, they thought, hang on, they must have a bit of, so they just went bang, Honestly, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Straight away, I'd say 5 or 6 women went over to us, and I literally went to Sadie, well, they think we've got money. That was it, because as soon as they see a booth, it was like,
They
Yeah.
see some
Yeah.
sparklers on top of a bottle.
Yes. The first question they asked me is he famous?
yeah, that's what I mean. That's
Yes.
incredible.
Have you not seen these YouTube videos
Casper.
of a guy going up to women, hot women, going, "You all right?" Like, and they're like, "I don't want to talk to you, don't want to talk to you," and they go, "Okay," walk over to their Lamborghini, and the
Yeah.
girl's like, "Oh, come back."
Gold digger pranks.
Yeah.
Yeah, seen that.
Yeah.
But it is true. It is true to that. They came over and they asked, "Oh, is he famous?" And that's not. Oh, is he single? It's
No.
oh, is he famous?
Yeah.
I mean, we said yes, but anyway.
Yeah, that wasn't at me. That was definitely not me. Is he famous? No chance.
Men from poor families are twice as likely to be single in their 40s.
There you go.
Answers it. But you see it, like you said, you open your eyes every day. You'll see some absolute worldie with. We're all judgy people. You'll see a worldie with somebody and you think, how has he got that? I wonder if women see that and they go, how has she got him?
I'll tell you, give you an example of that. About 10 years ago, I went to Cheltenham races,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I saw this girl who was beautiful with a guy so she was early 20s. He was late 40s, overweight, like just loaded, you could tell. You know, I wasn't describing you, mine. But I clocked eyes of her in the bar, right? And I went, like you doing? And she went,
Wow. So they even know it.
I know, yeah. And what?
Well, I mean, go back to the footballers, the grouchy side of things. How many of them stay with their partners, with the footballers, after they've been out nailing birds left, right, and centre? And it's that situation of it's let him
It's
sleep
lifestyle,
around
isn't it?
and
Lifestyle.
live this lifestyle. Have
But-
a bank. Yeah,
And
I've
also,
got this
Steve-
lifestyle, constantly cash. I can do what I want, go where I want, go to all these countries, these cities, unlimited clothes. The wag lifestyle, and I've just got to let him sleep with somebody every now and then behind
It's
my
actually
back.
funny, actually. I won't name this person, but you'll know. I'll mention this off air to you, Eddie. But there's a guy from our college. He didn't go to. He went to our college, but he played football for a local team. At 15, he was like the next great hope. Like he was going to be unbelievable. He had an unbelievably looking girlfriend. Like she was a solid 10 out of 10. He was like Wayne Rooney, like looking wise. Like it was. You'd look at it and you go, "What are you doing with him?" And you go, "Oh, he's going to be a famous footballer." He didn't make it. So at like 18, 19, he was released. Didn't make it. They broke up. It was like you were with him because you thought he's my meal ticket out of this shop living at Tesco's. And yeah, it was just funny how as soon as his potential football career ended,
And look at the age that was.
so did the relationship.
Starts that young.
Well, it's like David. This is another example. David James. As soon as he stopped playing football, women left, took half his money. He became bankrupt, and that was it. As soon as he stopped playing, the money obviously dried up, and she went, "See you later."
Crazy, mate. It's crazy.
But then I suppose that's the balancing act that they have. If you're a footballer and you're out shagging yourself silly around the town, can you expect that once that dries up, that bird who's going to put up with that,
True.
he's going to hang around?
It's also true as well. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like if everything's right at home, and we talked recently about what makes it right at home, then you don't need to be out about doing everything like you need that they would. I lost my train of thought with that one, but I guess what I'm saying is these footballers are out doing what they want. They've got a woman at home who's putting up with it for lifestyle. So is it any surprise when the lifestyle changes that
they disappear?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, and that could be any walk of life, can it? Any walk. If somebody's a successful trader, banker, whatever, as soon as they stop doing that, or that something happens and they haven't got that income anymore, that lifestyle to provide, and that comes down to how genuine are some women, are some couples. How genuine is that love, that connection? Because they go about, you should be sent things to test a relationship. Yeah, but the first sign of anything, how many women or men bolt? And that's,
I can't discuss this on that side of levels, but that situation with money was part of the situation. Like, now I'm out of the situation, I've looked back a little bit. When we split up, one of the relationships was that over the period just before we split up, money was a bit difficult. Business was having a little bit of a dip in form. All of a sudden, we'd gone from having, me having a large chunk of income coming in, it dropped slightly. And it became a stressful time for her and it was like, and it made a massive difference. And one of the situations was, one of the comments that was made was money's a bit of an issue, and that caused an issue in our relationship for us, and it contributed to us splitting up. And I look back now and I realize, well, actually, it was a massive issue. You got a fucking ass out of it. But it can happen in relationships now, not on the same scale. But how many people, men, we're portrayed to have to go out and be providers. That's the way, and how many relationships break up when a man loses his job, can't provide.
The great philosopher Chris Rock gets a mention on these podcasts, doesn't he? But he says a man is only important as long as he's providing.
It's true.
And I know I fell foul of that. The level of lifestyle that was given dropped for a period of time.
Any of you know anybody that's in a relationship that's the opposite? So the female is the bread earner.
Yeah.
You do? You're the same person?
Yeah, I think so.
In America?
Huh?
In America?
Yeah. Well, then there's two. Yeah, that is one. But no, there's another one. And the difference is, with the one I know, is how much, like, how low my friend's self-esteem is, because he can't afford to live the lifestyle that he's living, because it's on the other way. It's on the shoes on the other foot. So it's the fancy restaurants, the fancy holidays, all that, and he's like, okay, I can't afford to do that. So it's all down to her.
Yeah.
And then he says, well, if she's going to pay for it, if she wants to go, she's paying. I'm not paying for that. But they do, because it's that somebody's used to living that life. That's their life. They're used to it. They bring somebody in, because you can't help who you meet or who you fall in love with. You can't help that. But
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, though. If the woman's
it
willing
works.
to,
their dynamic works, and that's all that matters.
There's exceptions to every rule, isn't there?
Yeah,
there are always exceptions.
If I meet a sugar mama, I'm not going to complain. Jesus,
but this is it. It's women that are financially set, happy to date younger men. If they're not, they ain't dating younger men.
Hit us up.
But how much of a market is there? And there is a market for sugar mamas, but how much of a market is there for sugar daddies?
Big.
The website, mate.
There is a massive market for sugar daddies, right? And I know people on it. I know people that have sugar daddies. Huh?
You know sugar daddies?
No, I know people that have sugar daddies.
Oh, okay.
I would happily have a sugar daddy as long as I didn't have to do anything with them. I've got no problem with that. So anybody
do the girls that you know that have sugar daddies, do they have to do anything?
I think they talk a little bit, send pictures.
That's it.
From my understanding, I've never. It's not something I've gone and had a in-depth discussion with and gone, what do you actually have to do to earn that stuff? But
maybe we can get them on the podcast and explore it.
I'll ask. But there's a massive market. There is a massive market for it. You know, we can even break it down and go to OnlyFans. There is women are making a fortune on OnlyFans, absolute fortunes. And I know people on OnlyFans. But you don't hear about the men on OnlyFans, do you?
No, that's true.
It's women.
Piece of meat looks the same, whatever it is. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, though. Have you seen Stephen Bear all over Twitter? He's made he's got everyone talking. Honestly, most days he is trending. He's got his own. I don't know if it's OnlyFans, but he does that kind of thing with a woman, and he's caused so much talk. It doesn't matter if it's negative, but he's apparently he's put out. He's made so much money, but he's just promoted it on Twitter, and some of the stuff he puts on there is like people that retweet it and put caption. It's quite funny, but it's just like
There was a big think about him with a girl in a shower, wasn't there, or in a hotel room or something?
Yeah, that's it. That's
where he was really aggressive with holding a woman's head, and it went viral for But he's made some money because he don't care, does he? He's just got this.
No, he don't care. He don't give a monkeys.
You know, if you're not, well, I think his phrase is, no publicity is worse. You know, but what's the saying? No publicity is worse than bad publicity, and that's his philosophy. That's how he lives on life.
But we feed into that, don't we? We all, by talking about it on Twitter, by retweeting it.
Well, I've just spoke about it.
Yeah, you feed into that.
Yeah.
So but that's and we keep going on about the society we live in, but that is true. That's how relationships are as well now. Like,
yeah,
it's what's normal. What's normal for a relationship, Marco? For you, like, if you was to, like, let's say you were single, and you was to go out, look at him party, about to rip off his.
That background would be full of women.
Yeah, what's normal though? What would you see as normal? What's a normal go? Like, I'm going to go on a date. How would you approach that now?
I guess if I was to be single now, I would likely have to use a dating app because, I suppose, I guess there's no.
You'd have your boy, wouldn't you? You'd have your boy around. Yeah,
I've got my own little business, so there's no big office full of women.
I'm assuming your friend circles are all interrelated.
What do you mean?
With Carly, most of your friend circles would.
You assume?
Oh,
so no. Obviously I'd have Leo a lot, so I probably wouldn't go out. I don't go out now that much. I'll probably go out even less. Like the issues you've probably had, AD, with time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It'd be pretty special, wouldn't it? It'd have to be somebody that you've gone.
Though at the top, I just don't know if I'd be bothered. I just don't know if I would be asked.
I thought that though when I was first like single, I was like, I'm loving this. Like, I'm not bothered about this. I'm not bothered about meeting somebody. Like, blah blah blah, all of that. But as time gets on,
I don't know if there's a difference. So we've been together 14 years. That's 14 years of a relationship. Like,
yeah,
if that was to end, like I'm like relationships. Before that, it was like 5 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
I don't know. Like, and now, like, I'm 36. I'm not a spring chicken. There's I don't know. I don't know if I want anything else. I don't know if I could be bothered to go through the hassle of it.
Which was on one of the list, wasn't it? It was on the list.
You're saying, but Ada, you were saying just then, like, I'm assuming you're now at the stage where you'd like a relationship.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So you're further down the line. Marco's in that relationship, and he's like, if it ever ended, could I be bothered? I'm 5 months down the line where I'm kind of like, someone's got to come in and sweep me off. They've got to be awesome. I'm settled. I'm fine. And you're further down that line.
What about you, Fez?
I'm assuming he's in the same boat as you.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking, as in I'm not going to try and force anything. But if someone comes along and they tick my boxes, then I'm not going to say no.
Did you say what your boxes were?
Yeah, I say what my boxes were.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you
of
want me
course.
to? Yeah,
No, career driven.
Yeah.
50.
Did you say what your red flags were?
Maturity would be one. That
We
would be
haven't
a massive.
none of us have discussed red flag. What our red flags would be now, have we?
I'd say immaturity. Would that for me?
What are the lines in the sand? What are the things you'd never date?
Drugs
So someone who did drugs.
and potentially
Yeah.
smokes. Yeah, potentially. I'm not in. Yeah, I don't like it.
I'm all about that life. Yeah.
I'm the
So
same.
you're all about the drugs and smoking.
No, not dating somebody that drugs or smoke. That takes drugs or smokes.
Yeah. And I get it's people's personal choice and lifestyle, whatever, but it's not for me. So that would be a massive one for me.
Insecurity's got to be mine now, I think.
What if they're insecure?
Yeah.
On
I've just
anything?
pardon?
On anything, because obviously people can be insecure about so much or so like little.
I think it'd be. I think insecurity is about other women. I think for me that's a massive red flag. And like we touched on earlier, my kid's mum. You know, if I meet somebody, and one of my questions when I'm talking to somebody now is, you know, it's like I get on well with my kid's mum. They're part of my life. We do talk. You know, we have spent time going out, you know, going places with the kids. How do you feel about that? If they're like, I think that's a bit weird. Ciao, bye, see you later. If they're like, that's normal, that should be how it should be. You know, then that's fine for me. You know, but insecurity, I think that they need to be secure in themselves and not. I've got female friends. I have 4 female friends that I socialize with a lot. They've got to cope with that because I'm not going to ditch my friends. I've done that before. I've done that in the past, and then you come out of the relationship and you're like,
Man, I think we're all guilty of that. When you get into a new relationship, that is your focus.
yeah,
because we all take the piss out. We always take the piss out of mates that get in a relationship. You go, oh, I remember them.
your wife.
Yeah, exactly. You go, oh, he's under the thumb and all that, and it probably Marco's point, and that's that of you're in that bubble because you're going, I'm with you lot all the time. Like, geez, offer me something you can't. So see you later, boys.
Yeah.
Like, and you're out doing stuff, but it is tough. It's a balance. I think nowadays relationships are more of a balancing act than anything. Like it's got to be at our fine age. It's got to be a balancing act between our children, our jobs, and our free time. We've got to juggle all of that. So it is tough. It is tough. Like joking aside, we've probably all had it as well, where somebody say, like, "How are you single?" Like you'd be chatting to somebody and they'd be like, "How are you single? Like you seem to have got this, this, and this, and this." Like mine's like no, but
We know why you're single, Martin, because you're.
But no,
Yeah.
but somebody said it to me. They're like, I don't get how you're single, and it's genuinely because you're trying to balance everything, and you can't. It's hard to balance it all and please everyone. That's the other thing. What about you, Fez? Because obviously you must have chatted to girls, and they've been like, obviously, what age group are you chatting to though? Currently,
Probably. Well, I was chatting to someone who was 20, but it just again, it was like that immature kind of thing, and I get bored if it's like that. I just get bored. It's like after I've gone a couple of dates, I'm like, yeah, it's okay, it's going well, and then you go, immaturity. You see that kind of come out, and I'm like, no, that's not for me. And that kind of, I don't know if that's past relationships has made me do that.
mm-hmm.
I don't know, but that's kind of what
it's tough to balance it all. Because obviously you're training like to be a teacher.
Yeah,
so they're busy with that. Then obviously weekend it's our sport. We play football, socialise. Where do you fit everything in?
That's what I mean. That's the issue I've got at the moment. It's training to be a teacher, going into work, then after work, uni. Then after doing uni, it's got either I've got football or I go to the gym.
And how's it work for you, Marco? Like in a relationship, married, like when do you get to, like, do you still go on date nights and things like that? Do you do any of that?
No.
No.
What's that? I think that's something single people do.
What, date night?
Yeah.
No.
Once a month, maybe.
Okay. And
Yeah.
and is that like, do you want to do more of that kind of stuff, or are
Yeah.
you just happy as it is?
No.
Yeah. See, we all look for different things, don't we? And that's I don't think we'd ever find the perfect.
But I was going to say that because I think when you are in a relationship, there's an element of compromise that you have to. So let's say there's 10 things that I want from a relationship, and if I'm getting 7 of them, is that enough to keep you in? Do you know what I mean? And I think that's a big balancing act. That
I think it depends on your priorities of those 7, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. So I think that's, and I think early on in relationships, it's very easy to go, well, you're not doing this, so I'm going. I think once you're a lot longer down the line, it becomes more difficult to, not impossible, but becomes more difficult to walk away when all your things aren't aligned, even though some of them might be massive for you.
Yeah. And I think that comes with like maturity and age, doesn't it? Nowadays, I think now if I was in a relationship and something wasn't right, I'd be like, hang on, there and then, like, back this up. This isn't happening. Because the longer you leave it, the worse it gets, right?
Yeah.
But it's all a learning curve, isn't it? Like, we're like Ferris, I don't know your relationship history, but I've been in a 10-year relationship with the mother of my children. And from that, you learn certain relationship situations. And then the relationship I've just been in, I made sure that things that happened in my previous relationship didn't happen in that relationship. But then the relationship I've just come out of, there was a whole new different things to learn from. And so now I know that if I go into another relationship, what happened in my last relationship is not going to happen in this relationship. You kind of learn what where the compromises can come from, and your things change, and certain, you know, I certainly, well, I've learned a whole host of things from my last one, but it's you that compromise, you learn different situations, different relationships, that the compromises change, and it's always evolving. And I certainly know that when I was with my long-term, my kid's mum, the compromises were this, and this. Then when I moved to the next relationship, the compromises were completely different. They were completely different. And I think now going forwards, I think the compromises that were there would in my new in the next relationship were completely different to what they were in the last one.
Yeah,
it's an evolving thing.
How about, Marco? You said this jokingly the other night, but I reckon it's a really good idea. We set up a live blind date.
Oh, I wasn't joking.
For Fez, and look at him. But we set up a live,
like first dates.
Yeah.
We'll do a first dates.
Fez, will you be up for that?
Yes, if I alcohol consume.
Mate, do whatever. We got
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Can I be Fred?
Oh, bloody hell.
You actually look like Fred. Bigger brother.
Hey, Fred.
Fredo.
Fredos, plural.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Look, lads, wrap it up because we've been on for quite some time bitching about why everybody's single.
Don't want to be single, mate.
Let's just go with one thing that that is a must for your next relationship to end it. What is that must? A must have. Could be a feeling, emotion, a salary, a job. Like, what is the must?
For me, trust.
Okay.
Trust is a massive one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that because that ticks a lot of boxes. Yeah, trust is massive. If you don't have
Maybe
trust,
you be different.
A good bunda.
Oh my god! As if we said that on the live as well. Oh my! That just. Why do you have to say it?
I'm gonna clip that up.
Do it, mate.
Cringes me out when you say it.
That's going to be a meme going forwards.
I'm all about that bunda, G. My day one. No, so look at me fuming. Mate, for me, it's got to be banter, mate. I want something that can just be, relaxed, chilled. Like there's nothing too serious. There's already too much serious shit going on. Just chill.
Yeah.
Again, mic drop for you.
Right. Lads, appreciate the conversation as ever. Good speaking to everybody. And
Look forward to our live when we do Fez's first date.
Yeah, look forward to Nobody Cares About Dad first dates.
Incredible. We've got
we need to get we need to do this with women as well. We need to get it on the couch. Couch of women, a couch of men.
Casting couch.
No.
Where's your head at, mate?
We need. I think, like we said on the last one, didn't we?
Yeah.
We need to get a couch of men, a couch of women, and discuss. And let's get a debate going, a mass debate.
I think it'd be quite good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not that bit, Martin, but the actual discussion. Yeah.
But and bring these and have this conversation, these kind of conversations. Like we're hitting on some decent subjects. Last podcast about cheating and stuff like that, and today about being single. Be interesting to have a
female
head to head.
Yeah. No, I agree. We'll get it done. We'll get it set up. Right, boys. Been emotional.
Always.
Easy, lads.